welcome to another episode of SLC Punkcast Live and Wired, the portion of our show where we talk about shows that we have attended or will be attending, and any other shows that are coming up that we would like to announce and just kind of push your way. And today, we have a very special episode of Tales from the Pit. Because as we alluded to in the previous 3 or so episodes, me and Dustin, we were going to be attending punk rock bowling, and we did. And what's funny, neither of us ran into each other down there, and we have very different experiences. So we figured that this is one of those special episodes where you're going to see both of our pretty mugs talking about the shows that we attended.
And here we are.
And here we are. Here we are. This is Eric.
And this is Dustin.
And this is Tales from the Pit.
Indeed. We had a great time. It was Saturday. I got there Friday. You got there Friday? We both went down on Friday.
Yep. Went down on Friday, drove down. I didn't have any tickets for the club shows, which is, just as well, because I got down there and I was fucking beat. All I wanted to do was just find something to eat and someplace to crash, and I did. It was a nice little chill time, a nice chill evening, quiet before the storm, as it were.
Yeah, I started my weekend off with a club show, and I was tired from then on, man. It was past my bedtime every night, and I went and saw Mariachi El Bronx. I had to go see Crazy in the Brains as well, and it was pretty great. Pretty great. I love Crazy in the Brains. Christoph's awesome. We've had Christoph on SLC Punkcast, and their show was great. The most lively show, because all the other bands at that show were like mariachi type music, like very heavily like traditional Mexican music.
Yeah.
But mixed with like folk punk and stuff like that, were like all the other bands there, until you got to Mariachi El Bronx. And even Mariachi El Bronx is not the Bronx. It's a much more toned-down version with mariachi-style music, but I hadn't seen them, so I definitely want to see them, and they were fantastic.
I've only seen them once. That was back in 2013 as part of Flogging Molly's Green 17 tour.
Okay.
They were, I guess it was a co-headlining bill. I mean, obviously Flogging Molly was playing last, but Mariachi El Bronx was the second build.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were cool. They're a pretty awesome band to see live. I just couldn't stand all the fucking bro dudes going, I'm moshing to mariachi music.
Yeah.
You guys are idiots.
I didn't see any of that, which was good, because it's not moshing music. Like I said, much more toned down. Crazy in the Brains was the most lively. You can definitely do a little moshing there, but they were most lively. Funny enough, I was wearing my Crazy in the Brains t-shirt to the show. And after I watched the first band, it was Pinata Protest. And I watched most of Pinata Protest. And I was like, I'm going to go to the room. I'm going to get something to eat. And I was staying at the Downtown Grand, which is where the club show was. So it was on the pool deck. And I go get an elevator, go upstairs, get some food, sit down for a minute. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go back. Mariachi El Bronx is going to be on. And actually, when I rode the elevator up, I was going up, and I went to floor 5, and on floor 5, it was the band Crazy in the Brains. It wasn't Christoph, but it was everybody else. They're like, hey, I like your shirt. And I was like, I like what you guys did today. You guys were great.
Yeah, I like your band.
Right? And then I rode up, did my thing like I said, then got the elevator to come back down, and it stops on, wouldn't you know it, floor 5 again. And guess who joined me on floor 5? Mariachi El Bronx.
Holy shit.
The whole entire band climbed in on the elevator in their mariachi suits, and it was pretty fantastic.
That's funny.
My timing was good.
It's like one of those clown cars,
Yeah.
There's always another passenger coming out.
Right.
I'm just picturing, like, was there any, like, unknowing patrons that were at the elevator base, at the base floor, the ground floor? The ground floor, when the doors open up and they see all these mariachi guys just exit, they're like, the fuck?
Right? There were, because it was on the floor 3, the pool level, and so there were people, I think they were kind of expecting because they were on that level, but like, oh, look at that, and they saw a whole bunch of folks.
Okay.
So it was cool. It was great. That show was great. And then that brings us to Saturday. I mean, Chris got there late, and so I'm up late bullshitting with Chris, and so I got to bed far later than I wanted to. And it started the weekend off being tired, man. Because that'll get into the rest of my weekend.
Pretty much, you just set the mood.
Right. Got after it. So Saturday, what did you do?
Now Saturday, Saturday was us getting used to the whole. The whole scope of the festival. You kind of have to find your footing. So we're looking at the schedule, like, okay, which band do I want to see first? The Addicts. I got to see the Addicts. Oh, wait, Youth Brigade's right before that. They start at 5. Okay, we'll be there at 4:30, I guess. So we get there, and we see the line for GA+. We're like, oh, that line's not long. Oh, wait, but that's GA+. GA is this way, and it keeps going.
Right.
And going, oh, there's the end. No, it turns down the corner into the alleyway. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Okay, well, let's get to the line. Thankfully, the line moves fast, but not fast enough because I missed all of Youth Brigade.
Oh, wow.
You know, we had gotten there pretty late. They were halfway through their set. And then I missed half of the Addicts. I got to listen to it from the line. But it's one thing to hear the Addicts, but it's another to experience the Addicts. You know, so I didn't get to see their full set. I got through about halfway through their set, and by then there weren't like any of Monkey's flamboyancy and his big stage theatrics, all of his outfits and everything like that. I didn't get to see any of that. By that point, he had
his layers.
Yep, he was already pretty much stripped down. But that's not to take away from their performance because the music still sounded good. It's the fucking Addicts. They have such a wide range of great songs that they were playing, and while I did miss Joker in the Pack, I at least got in to hear, of course, Viva la Revolution.
Right.
They always play that song without fail. It's their blitzkrieg bop.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff. They were fantastic. I actually started the day with the pool show that you forgot about, or that you thought we were on the next day, because we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
I got to see Teenage Bottle Rocket and Beton Army, so two fantastic bands at the pool. But again, late night, early day, and I really want to see Terror Attack, killer hardcore band that we've played a bunch of times from Las Vegas, so I got to see them on the main stage. That was great. I got to see Bullshit Detector on the main stage. Saw Maid of Ace. They came on after Bullshit Detector, and then I think we left for a little bit. Came back. I probably missed you in line because we came back about halfway through, or maybe a little beyond halfway through. There wasn't a lot left of Youth Brigade when we got back.
Yeah.
And then I got to see all the Addicts, so that was really great.
So we probably just barely missed each other.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that this weekend's going to play off a lot like, the movie American Tail.
Right.
Where Fievel and his parents just keep crossing paths but barely miss each other.
Right.
I think that's what our experience were like. We were even staying in the same hotel.
Right.
And we didn't even run into each other on the elevator.
Were you on floor 5? I kept running into all sorts of people from floor 5.
Yeah. Well, I was in the casino tower on floor 11. Okay. So, yeah. But it was a great room. Great room. I'm not gonna turn this Tales from the Pit episode into a Yelp review, but it was nice.
Right.
It was nice. I only wish we had a refrigerator.
Yeah, that's the drawback to the grab.
Because we had a cooler and we just kept refilling it with ice for all the perishables, so we didn't have to spend a fucking fortune on all the food down there in Vegas. Because Vegas, everything there is more expensive, despite the fact that their economy runs on you losing money.
Right. Everybody else is capitalizing off of you being there and willing to spend more money too.
Exactly. Exactly. I didn't do any gambling while I was down there. Did you?
No. I was sitting at a machine with my buddy Kurt on the next day from Dismantled Records. And I was tempted because he was at the higher stakes poker tables, like in the rooms.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for him, and I thought, maybe I'll put $20 in this. And I remember the last time I was at the bar and put $20 into the video poker machines. It didn't last very long, and I didn't win anything. So, needless to say, I did not.
Yeah. My girlfriend brought down $40 worth of gambling money. And then she put in 40 and she lost 40. So,
yeah, it goes quick.
Yeah.
If you ain't winning, it goes quick.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. There are no winners in gambling except for the house.
Right. Indeed. Anyway, back to Saturday. Any other favorites that you got to see? Like, I think we probably saw most of the rest of the bands. I was up close, but it was hot as shit because, like, 2 o'clock is like when terror attacks going on. 2:30 is when bullshit detectors going on. And it was hot. It was hot. So by the time Eric was there, I was hiding in the shade and away from everybody because by the time Eric got there, so were a lot of other people from when the other bands started.
Yeah, pretty much.
They had some cool bands. You know, Cockspar ended the night. They were pretty fantastic. Power Trip was on that night, which was puzzling to me.
Oh, and so was Cockney Rejects.
Cockney Rejects were good.
Yeah.
I watched them on the screen and heard their music. I didn't go all the way down the street. I was on the upper area. I could see them from the distance. You kind of hear the music. So I didn't get the immersive experience. Kind of wish I would have, but man, I was pacing myself.
I was immersed. I was still pacing myself. The pits weren't that brutal yet. But Cockney Rejects were great. It was awesome seeing, like, I may have missed most of the Addicts, but I have seen the Addicts before. Cockney Rejects, I have never seen them.
Right.
And I don't know when in the fuck I'm going to see them again. So this was awesome. It was awesome for me to see Cockney Rejects and their singer in between the parts where he's not singing. He's just bouncing around, doing his little... like gearing up like he's about ready to take on Clubber Lang.
Yeah.
You know, he's just doing his little boxing moves. I'm thinking, so he's the Cockney Sparrer.
Right? Right.
There we go. Cockney Rejects and Cock Sparrer. Put them together. Maybe he was gearing up. But anyway, Cockney Rejects, they did a great set. Then I went on over to see Power Trip. Now, I've seen Power Trip before twice. And both times were with their original singer, Riley Gale, R.I.P. So this was my third time seeing Power Trip. First time with their new singer, and yeah, he did a damn good job. Damn good job. Great performance from all the other members, all the original lineup. But the lead singer, he had bravado up on stage. Definitely was no Riley, but he still did a good job. Still did a good job. And this was the only time I really fucking moshed like a maniac. I got there right as they started playing Swing of the Axe, which is their song. That's the one everyone recognizes, and buddy, I just went ballistic. I'm like, okay, I'm there with my girlfriend. I'm like, okay, babe, I love you. Swing of the Axe! I was going nuts. I worked myself way too hard, because by the time I got out of that pit, I'm just going, shit. Okay. I think I'm good for right now. Yeah, when I said good for right now, I meant I think I'm good for the rest of the festival.
Right?
No. But they did an excellent job. It was nice seeing a thrash band on the main stage because, you know, it's not like they're not without their heavier bands. I mean, they've had Municipal Waste, they've had Judge, they've had Madball, they've had Ministry. You know, which does kind of walk that line, but we all know them for their heavier stuff.
Right.
You know, they are, but those guys are usually sent to club shows. You know, and Power Trip could have done well as a club show band, but to be playing the main stage, that was actually a pretty awesome feat. I'm like, okay, that's cool. We're expanding.
Right.
You know, it's not just for the legacy bands, though Power Trip is kind of getting up there, but. But yeah, it was awesome seeing Power Trip. It was awesome hearing the Swing of the Axe and Firing Squad, Nightmare Logic, all the classic crossover songs in there. They fucking killed it. They killed it. It was a great time. And yeah, then next one I really had to get to was Bouncing Souls.
Yep, they were after that.
He's repping.
Right, got it on.
Yeah, Bouncing Souls. Yeah, I love the Bouncing Souls, and I had seen them, I remember seeing them last year in August when they were doing those special sets in Denver.
Right.
You know, playing Hopeless Romantic, How I Spent My Summer Vacation, Anchors Away, and the Gold Record, back to back to back to back.
Right.
That was an amazing show, and it happened on my birthday. So I am just so happy that happened. So yeah, and then I saw Bouncing Souls again this last weekend. And then we saw them again.
Tuesday, once we got
Tuesday.
home.
Because,
If we hadn't had enough yet, we were ready for more.
oh, yeah. I mean, it's the Bouncing Souls. I'm never disappointed when I see them.
Right.
They always put on a good show. And this one, at Vegas, was no exception.
Absolutely.
They played all the hits. They were playing the likes of, they come out on stage and they just crush it right into Hopeless Romantic.
Right.
And playing songs like Kids and Heroes and Say Anything and Kate is Great.
Right?
And yeah, then they pulled out Ballad of Johnny X. They did, what was it? Shark Attack.
Oh, yeah.
Shark Attack. They
yeah.
just introduced that back into the set list, and I'm happy for it because that's a fun song.
It was a great set. Very similar to the Tuesday set, but they did add about 10 or 15 minutes into the Tuesday set as they're the headliner on that night.
Yeah, of course, it was expanding a little bit. They even switched around a couple of songs, I noticed. I do notice these things. We'll get to that in a minute, but yeah, I remember the closing song that they did. Well, the two closers was Gone, one of my absolute favorite Bouncing Souls song.
Right.
I love that one. And then they closed with True Believers.
Right.
But I was walking out during True Believers because I needed to get as close as I fucking could to the main stage so that I could watch Cocksparrer, man.
So good.
Oh, yeah, Cocksparrer. I just remember them. They were walking out. Also, I gotta forget to mention that, like, in between, at least on the main stage, when bands were about to take the stage, they would play, like, all this news footage about, like, the, current events and the state of affairs in the United States as it is. And I'm thinking, man, remember when they had the life-size Trump statue that they just broke apart on the stage?
Yeah.
Let's bring that back. Let's bring that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring back the Trump statue so we can kill it. That was fun. That was always a pretty fun thing. But yeah, there were all these newsreels and these broadcasters talking about some fucking thing that's wrong in the world, and I'll go, yeah, but we know, and that's why punk rock exists, because it's a output.
Right.
To call out all the powers that be and all their bullshit.
Yeah. I personally preferred when they would bring the various cameras of the crowds. That was more entertaining.
Yeah. That was nice.
Yeah. They didn't do that this time. They did the other shit instead. So
yeah.
Bring back the crusty cams.
Bring back crusty cams. Oh, well, maybe next year.
Yeah.
But anyway, as for this year, Cocksparrer, they put on a hell of a set. It was exactly as I was hoping.
Yeah.
They came out, and it's like, we're Cocksparrer, and this is the jacket that I wore the first time we played punk rock bowling, and now I'm wearing it, and it's hotter than hell. And then, I'm like, yes! I always wanted them to start with Riot Squad. Well, I mean, they did the last time I saw them, but I'm just like, that's how you start a Cocksparrer set.
Absolutely.
You have to start it with Riot Squad.
Yeah.
And the people went nuts. Oh, God, they went nuts. And of course, they played all the classics from Shock Troops, doing Take 'Em All, doing the, oh, Jesus, why can't I remember? Where Are They Now?
Right.
And, of course, Working. And I remember my girlfriend, she was hoping beyond hope that they would play Out on an Island. I go, oh, that'll be the day. That would be the day. I mean, I don't think Cocksparrer, as far as my knowledge goes, have ever played that song. But
I don't recall it now.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I'm not that old. So, yeah.
Maybe way back.
Maybe way back. And they did do their, a few of their newer ones from like their last album, then a couple tracks from Forever, and of course England Belongs to Me.
Right.
Yeah, but I can't remember the titles from the new album, or the last two new albums that they played. I was hoping they would play Every Step of the Way. They didn't. But if that's my complaint for seeing Cocksparrer, then it shapes up to be a good show, right?
Right.
Where were you during Coxbar?
I was up in the VIP area, standing, watching. I had a great view. I sang along. I did with the Addicts as well, a little bit of the Bouncing Souls, even though I was a bit further away from the Bouncing Souls. But that's where I pretty much lost my voice, and I didn't sing along with hardly anybody. I mean, I did a little bit with Mike McColgan later that night, but at that point, the voice was already a bit beat down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that does kind of suck.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, Coxbar was a great set, and they ironically, and Colin even even pointed this out. We are not coming back to Vegas. We're sorry, but this is our last song. We're coming back. So yeah, they close it out with "We're coming back," even though they're not.
They're not. That was it.
Yeah, at least not to Vegas, but they may be back. They may be back in the U.S. for other fests. We shall see.
Right.
We'll see.
If Pirates Press does their Rock the Ship, I have a feeling they'd come back for Rock the Ship.
Probably.
But I don't know what else. Who knows? Depends on how much money they're offered and how into traveling they are at that time.
Yeah, because the older you get up there, the less you want to get on a plane.
Right. Want to stay at home and perform at home.
No, they want to be on their island.
Yep.
Out on their island in the middle of the Atlantic Sea. Okay, so after the festival, you went and did something, did you not?
I did, yes. Coxbar, fortunately but unfortunately, because of the set times and the way they schedule the club shows, it's hard to get to the first band at the club shows. And the club show I went to was at the Usual Place. The Usual Place is the furthest fucking official venue for club shows.
Which venue is that? Is that where we saw Wisdom in Chains? Those years ago?
No, that one's not even that far.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. That's just like around the corner comparatively. You go down Fremont, right? And you know where Fremont Country Club is? And the Container Park?
Yeah.
The Container Park isn't even halfway there.
No shit.
Yeah.
God, that sucks.
And we had to walk that far. It's almost worth taking an Uber because it would be faster, but we walked, and holy shit. And at the end of the night when it's 2:30 and Mike McColgan and the Bomb Squad were done, I was like, fuck, this is not a walk I want to be doing. I'm tired. I want to go sleep. But anyway, the point is, Disgusting and the Rodents, really wanted to see them, but by the time we got there, they were done. And the Attack were prepping. The Attack from Florida had Brad on for some episodes to split that interview because it was a really good interview. We split that.
Yeah.
And so, really great one. Got to see the Attack again as a second time. And the other time I saw them at Punk Rock Bowling at Hogs and Heifers back in 2017. So, very cool to see them there. And after that, the Briggs. First time seeing the Briggs for me. And it was awesome to get to see the Briggs.
I've never seen the Briggs.
They were great. And then leads into Mike McColgan and the Bomb Squad, which is pretty much the exact same set, just a different setting for us that we got to go see them back in Houston in December. So
Yeah.
it was great. I was up on the front barrier. Chris was in front of me. Chris, I mean, I like Do or Die. It's wonderful. I love Dropkick Murphys. I love that album. Mm-hmm. But there's people like I saw Conrad there. Conrad was there because, of course, he wants to be there.
Yeah,
and,
that's his favorite Dropkick album.
Right. That album is important to him. It's important to Chris. It's important to a lot of people there. I just want to see it because I fucking love it. It's great, but I'm not there where they were, as far as that goes. So Chris is in front of me. Chris is like Eric's size, bigger than me. Chris is even bigger than Eric. Chris is like 6'3", and he's down to 265.
Yeah, but he still is he's more rotund than I am.
Yes. Needless to say, I'm behind him, and during the Briggs, during the Attack, I'm fine. I'm right up at the barrier, but just behind the barrier, I was talking to my pal Pete. He was there, I think in between the Briggs and Mike McColgan, and I turned away as somebody just sneaks up right behind me. And so now I'm not at the barrier anymore, and I was like, all right, whatever, This is more important to them than me. I don't care. And my fucking chair keeps dropping, by the way. I'm tired of it dropping.
Having a mechanical malfunction here.
Right, let's see. Try to sit lighter. Here we go. Anyway, that whole time I'm got straight arm holding the barrier. Chris is in front of me here, so I can't brace this way, and I'm trying not to smash him into the barrier, but just as soon as Mike McColgan goes, I'm face sideways, into Chris's back, all right, this is not fucking happening this whole fucking set, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm whole time just complete stiff arm, holding the barrier, trying to hold back all the fuckers that want to like climb over the top of me. I had people with their arms like right across my fucking eyes so they can point and touch Mike McColgan because he's always jumping up on the fucking barriers. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, this is what I get. I asked for it. I decided to be up here. I guess that's my lot. But man, I had to wash my fucking hair after that show because there's all sorts of body sweat and shit all over my hair.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, it was great. We talked a lot about that back in around December, and it was basically the exact same set. So
Yeah.
that wrapped up my day, but a long fucking day, which leads us into the next day. And I didn't do the pool party, but
I did.
yeah.
We went to the, after sleeping off our, well, not exactly hangovers, but just, late nights. Anyway, we finally got up. We had we brought our own food down there, a lot of deli meats, sliced cheeses, condiments, and a lot of bagels.
Okay.
So we lived off of bagel sandwiches,
Nice.
which was smart because, like I said, we don't want to be paying a fortune for shit food.
Right.
So we got less shitty food. I mean, good food. Fuck that. It's good food.
Right.
It's good food, and for a lot less.
Good.
We just had to keep refilling the ice.
Nice. There you go.
But whatever. We had our breakfast. We had our morning drinks. She has a penchant for whiskey, so we were always pouring shots in the room.
Nice.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then we get all dressed up. I get my what are basically board shorts on. I mean, they're built like board shorts. They are swimsuits and whatnot. Then I get what I call my Slavic chanclas. They are chanclas, but they're made by Adidas. So we all know how the Slavs love their tripoloski,
right.
Slavic chanclas. And then I put on my coveted Hawaiian shirt. Not a punk rock Hawaiian shirt, it's just I wanted to look like a ska guy minus the hat.
Okay.
And we go down, and the co-defendants are playing at that point. We got down pretty late, despite the fact that we have the early access wristband pass because we were staying in the Grand. Yeah, but whatever, like I said, we had other things to do. And then we went into the pool party, and sure enough, there is the band hidden by the crowd, and then there's the pool. And there is a circle pit going in. I'm like, yes! And then I look to my girlfriend, I'm like, you have no idea. This is going to be a lot of fun. So get your ass into that pool. We're going to go swimming.
Right?
Oh, God. And we did. There was so much shit going around. There's all these inflatable beach balls. There's all these inflatable little gimmicky things. There was an inflatable phone. Nice. An inflatable phone. One of the inner tubes was an inflatable donut. Looked like, or an ice cream sundae, because you could hold on to the cone.
Okay.
Yeah, the cone was sticking straight up. And then there were a lot of inner tubes. And there was even an inflatable sex doll.
Nice.
Okay, well, not a sex doll, but it was an inflatable nude body, and it was hung like a horse. So that was making the rounds a lot. And people were constantly, getting up into the inner tubes and just sitting there like this, and they were just getting, shoved and chucked around and just, spinning all over the place. I was on there multiple times. I managed to get my girlfriend up there multiple times because she had never really experienced a pool party like this before. I'm going, trust me, you're not going to forget this. And it was so fun. Co-defendants, they put on a pretty good set. I didn't see them, but I could hear them. And I was more concerned about trying to stay afloat.
That's fair. You're in the water.
Yep, we were in the water. Oh, and inflatable guitars. There are plenty of inflatable guitars.
There ought to be an inflatable guitar there, right?
Gotta be. There's just gotta be, man. So I'm just sitting in the back of the tube, like so, playing my little inflatable guitar. And then all of a sudden, someone tips me the fuck over, and there I go. Okay, it's someone else's turn. It was... They were such a fun time. It was a fun time. And, of course, everyone's got their beer and their drinks and whatnot in the pool. Oh, boy, but they had to drain it the last day.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, they'll drain the pool regularly, but especially after that weekend. Oh, boy, partiers galore. So, yeah, I love going to the punk rock bowling pool parties. They are always a blast. Always a blast. All you have to do is drink and swim.
Right?
and don't get sunburned. I didn't. I got a nice little bronze right here. You probably can't see it because we don't really do a lot of editing, and we don't do. So I had to make sure that I got there before 6 p.m. because I really wanted to see Fiddler.
Okay.
I wanted to see Bad Nerves too, and I did kind of see them. I saw them for I guess like the last 3 songs, and I was way far back because I had just gotten into the venue. But yeah, I really wanted to see Fiddler. I've only seen them once when they played Punk Rock Bowling back in I think it was 2017. Yeah, 2017. And yeah, then they were playing the main stage and they played very well. They pulled a lot of the heavy hitters. They played Cheap Beer, they played Punks, they played Generation Y, they played God, I can't remember the name of the song, but the one that's going, oh, oh, get up, I'm ready for the weekend. That song.
Nice.
And then they did God, I can't remember the titles. Oh, they did the song Punks, fittingly enough, the one that's just super goddamn heavy. And yeah, the people were reacting very well to them. It was it was a good turnout for Fiddler. And they did this one thing where they said, okay, everybody out of the pit, out of the pit. All right, now this next song we're going to play, We Only Want the Girls in There.
Nice.
And my girlfriend, she doesn't really pit anymore because she tore her ACL some time ago.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so yeah, when it comes to me like having to circumvent the pit, sometimes that's not an option, so we have to go just right through it. And I'm just holding her like, clear a path, I got a handicapped here. Not really, but yeah, I do have to sort of like be the shield. But when they said all girls in the pit, she just fucking went in.
Nice.
She even went down. She tripped and she fell, but then I saw her, yay, got back up. Okay, fuck yeah, she's not injured.
That's good.
Now, if anything, the closest thing to an injury she received was when we were when we were watching Cockspar. Because the thing is with Cockspar, it attracts a lot of skinheads. And what do skinheads love to do, specifically on a hot day? Oh, they love to drink. God, they love to drink. And, of course, they're drinking twice as much because in the heat, they're sweating out all the alcohol.
Right.
So you got a bunch of big, smelly drunks who don't exactly have motor skills. They're just kind of mouthing the words but not really knowing what they're saying. And one just had his fat fucking foot on her foot, and she now has a hairline fracture because of it.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, the stupidest way to get an injury there.
Damn, that sucks.
Oh, but she was getting, here's another thing. The biggest, she was fine in the pit. But the biggest threat came from not the pit, but a flying beer can.
Oh, wow.
Like, we were walking up to the stage, and then all of a sudden, I just see this airborne Voodoo Ranger just come and go, boom, right in her fucking face.
Oh, she had a rough go.
Oh, yeah. And then these girls behind her are like, are you okay? Are you okay? Do you have a black eye? She's like, I just need to get everything sorted here. Okay. How's my face looking? Amazingly, she was fine.
Oh, good.
There was no black eye, but she was startled. She got pelted, and I went and picked it up. It was the Voodoo Ranger. It was like a third of the way full. I think most of the drink spilled out when it clocked her in the fucking face.
Oh, assholes.
I know. But she was okay.
Good.
And I just took what was left of the beer, and I'm like, fuck you! Threw it back into the pit. I don't know who it hit, and I don't really care. So, yeah, she was getting through the ringer. And I accidentally elbowed her in the face. Okay, because this was the thing.
She was having a rough go this weekend.
That's because she had her arm around my waist like so. And then I went to put my arm around her shoulder, and it just went, boom! Oh, my God, I'm so sorry! So she's going, okay, what else can you do to me?
All right.
What else can this festival do to me? It's trying to kill me. No, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to injure you anymore. It's just, fuck. Momentary loss of muscular coordination.
Right.
But anyway, Fiddler was Yeah, Fiddler was a great set, but my main reason for being there on the second day, besides Peter Hook, was Gang of Four.
Right. Gang of Four was good.
Gang of Four was so awesome. They basically played, I mean, I think they played like all of Entertainment, if not most of it.
Right.
Like I was listening to Entertainment on the way down there, and then when I heard them play the songs live, I'm going, I know that one, I know that one, I know that one. Do they have any other material at this point?
They have a lot of albums, but really that Entertainment was the only one that was punkish. Everything else was something else.
Yeah. Yeah, they've spanned. They've got a lot of weird sounds to their name, but Entertainment, yes, it was the punk record. It was the post-punk record. And they did it so well. They played so fucking well.
Right.
I just loved them for that.
They were great.
Yeah. Wasn't that there was one band that invited Laura Jane Grace out to do, I think it was that one.
Could have been. I watched them from the screen. I didn't go down around because they were on the street stage. So I watched them, and actually I left. I got there for Laura Jane Grace, and that's who I got there for that day. And that was the first band I saw. Then...
how was she?
Great. Set was good. I mean... Played a bunch of music I don't know. There was like one or two Against Me songs, and then like...
Which one? Pints of Guinness?
No, Teenage Anarchist.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there were like 3 or 4, because I know her first couple albums that she put out, and then whatever she's doing now for music, I have no idea. And that was mostly, I think, what they played, because I don't know. I didn't know most of it, but what I heard was good.
Well, I never really listened to much of Lauren Grace's Laura Jane Grace solo stuff. It never really held any intrigue to me.
First couple albums I liked, but whatever they're doing.
Okay, now, it was during a Gang of Four set that Laura Jane Grace came out and did did one of the songs with him. I can't remember which one, but
that's cool.
Yeah, but I'm sure I can pinpoint it if it's
Christoph from Crazy in the Brains came out on stage with Bouncing Souls for one of their tracks.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That was cool. And at the H2O Club show, which I didn't go to, with Hot Water Music, Christoph came on stage and did a song with H2O as well.
Oh, yeah?
I was there, yeah. That I had to see on video. But that was cool. I saw Laura Jane Grace. I came back for Gang of Four. I missed Fiddler. I heard Bad Nerves. I was walking around the merch tables. Heard a little bit of Bad Nerves, left, missed Fiddler, came back, caught about the second half of Gang of Four, and then saw everybody else who was on that night. What, the Interrupters, and Frank Turner, and Peter Hook and the Light.
Yeah.
I think is pretty much who rounded out that night.
That is pretty much it. Anyway, it was Not Great Men. That was the song they were playing that Laura was featured on.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so yeah, now that we solved that little mystery, yes, Gang of Four and the Interrupters. I watched the Interrupters. I've seen them a bunch of times, but
me too.
Yeah, and me and my girlfriend, we were making a bunch of jokes like, they're just basically Diet Rancid. But I know that they said they hate being compared to Rancid. I go, look, you are basically a shoo-in for Hellcat.
Right.
You know, your music is definitely Rancid, except for your voice, Amy. You sound like Brody Daly.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
You know? Because I do like the Interrupters. I like their music. I think they are great. They're excellent live, especially the Bavona brothers. They are just, all three of those guys, you could just tell they are just having a
great time.
Some kind of a borderline smarmy attitude.
Right.
But they are just having fun. And Amy, she's doing her thing, and it's basically Distillers Rancid put together. I'm sorry, but that's just how you fucking sound. Maybe write something different if you don't like the comparisons, or just accept it.
Right.
But that's just what it is. And they played their classics. They played of course they played She Got Arrested. They played Kerosene. Right. They played Tough Till I Die.
Take Back the Power.
Yeah, Take Back the Power. And
all
I always
the
love it
hitters.
when they played that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your plan for tomorrow? And then they just mute it out, and the entire crowd goes, are you a leader, or will you follow? That was the best. I love it when they do that.
Right.
So, yeah, Interrupters, they were pretty good. And then during Frank Turner, I mean, I'm not a huge Frank Turner fan. I mean, I like him, but I wasn't, I was way far behind in the crowd. I was really more interested in finding something to eat, which I did. Just got a couple of tacos, overpriced, of course, but, I needed to eat something. And, yeah, Frank Turner, he sounded good. And then he started playing Photosynthesis. I'm like, okay, I got to at least watch this one. Won't sit down, I won't shut up. I like that song. And also, forgot to mention, after the Gang of Four set, that's when I ran into Morat, Crew, and John.
Yep.
From Soldiers of Destruction.
They played at the Red Dwarf on Monday night.
Yeah, they did. They did. I missed it.
I was too tired. Pete invited me, and I told him if I have anything left in the tank, I'll make it. I didn't have anything left in the tank.
Well, Monday night I was a little busy doing something else, but we'll get to that in just a minute here. But yeah, it was cool seeing those guys, and I told them I really love the March 4th single, and all the fucking features you have on there is just incredible.
Right.
And then I asked Crew, so when's the rest of it coming out? He's saying, oh boy, whenever John says it's okay. Because John is just he's the ringleader doing all the meticulous producing and everything behind there. But he's saying that they're hoping for August.
Cool.
So I'm like, okay, fingers crossed. I don't know if that was, God, what was it? Information that could not be disclosed, but whatever, it's out now.
Right.
Release date pending, but this summer, I expect some new Soldiers of Destruction. I'm excited for that. Right. Holy shit. So 2 of my favorite Vegas bands will be putting out new material. We already got one from Spirit World,
right?
El Dorado, which is on my list for best releases of this year so far. We'll see if Soldiers of Destruction can deliver on that. And if it's anything that's like March 4th, oh boy.
All right.
I would be happy. But yeah, Cause and Effect is still a high bar to reach, in my opinion. That's such an amazing record. Love those guys. I'm excited that more stuff is coming from them. And it was just awesome seeing those guys. They're always so inviting, super nice folks, and just great people.
Right.
Just great people. So anyway, let's get to the coup de grace. What was the band that closed out that night?
Peter Hook and the Light. That's why I didn't go over to Frank Turner, because I was in the VIP area and people started to vacate. And if I would have vacated, I would have come back no seat. But I got a seat and I sat and I was able to sit and watch.
Yeah,
because I was tired again. I was tired, man. At the end of the night, I was tired. Had to get a seat.
Oh yeah.
So Peter Hook and the Light, they were awesome. To be fair, there's some bands like I noticed from Power Trip. Once Bouncing Souls, I bet. Probably 3/4 of the way through Power Trip, that crowd was just fucking disappearing because they were all curving around. They weren't just leaving to leave the venue, like with Peter Hook and the Light, which I'm about to get to. They were just, crowd wanted to be at Bouncing Souls. For Bouncing Souls, from that street stage all the way back to the vending tents, that's how that crowd was solid because I was sitting up high watching. There was a ton of people. And then with Peter Hook and the Light, that crowd was half gone. The night before with Cox Bar, that whole main area was completely full. I had a video of the crowd. It was just a sea of packed people. And unfortunately for Peter Hook and the Light, I loved it, but I really wanted to see because I've never seen the Joy Division songs played live. I haven't seen Peter Hook live.
Yeah.
But that crowd was half gone.
I know. It kind of sucked because of that.
Yeah.
But the set was still very good.
It was. I loved it. I thought all the tracks were great. Great selection of tracks. The first 2 or 3 were probably Peter Hook and the Light originals because I didn't know any of those. Like the first 3, I thought.
Well, no, the
what
first
the fuck
3
were we listening to?
No, the first 3. No Love Lost. That is a Joy Division song.
Is it?
The second one was Warsaw. That was from the first Joy Division EP. Yeah.
It sounded different for some reason.
3, 5, 0, 1, 2, 5, go. Down. Yep, that is a Joy Division song.
All right, I'm wrong.
Yep.
But the rest of the set was really good. The whole set, I liked it.
Oh yeah. And, of course, they played some of the singles that did not get put on Unknown Pleasures. There was Digital, obviously Transmission, Love Will Tear Us Apart. Those existed in their own realm. But Unknown Pleasures, yeah, he played them but he played them out of order. So yeah, it was all Joy Division songs, but he also did like a Ceremony, which is a New Order song.
Okay.
So that was something different.
Chris really wanted to hear a couple New Order songs. I was like, they do. I don't give a shit. Yeah. I just want to see the Joy Division tracks.
But I was really excited for Shadow Play. That's that's my favorite song off of Unknown Pleasures, at least.
Right.
Yeah. And it was in that time that there was a bit of confrontation taking place in the pit.
Was there?
Yeah. So I was looking back periodically, and the pit is circular, because leave it to the punks to find a way to fucking spit to Joy Division. Right. But anyway, as long as the rhythm is there, they will find a way. So yeah, we all know the physics of a circle pit, counterclockwise motion. And there's always going to be one dickhead who just has to go the other way.
Right.
And it happened to be this big, bald, fat fucker. And he was just happily just going the opposite way. And people, of course, were getting understandably pissed with him. I'm going, whatever, I'm not in the pit. If I was in that pit, I'd fucking clothesline him. That's what I do with people that are going the opposite way, is just boom. I did that to MGK in the SLC Punk 2 concert scene. Yes. And unfortunately, that didn't make it into the final cut. Damn it. That would have made that movie better.
It would have. It needed some help.
It needed a lot of help. But that's a different story. Anyway, and I remember during Shadow Play, I started hearing a lot of commotion behind me. I was like, oh, is that guy finally getting his comeuppance? Okay, good for him. I'm going to just continue watching this. Shadow Play. And then I see him getting like fucking booted out. Like people were crowding him and were just like taking him out of the fucking pit. And I'm like, what the hell? And then I hear people coming back, he was a fucking Nazi. He was a Nazi. Wow. He was wearing the shirt. And I go, what the hell? And yeah. We all know about the SS Santa guy who got kicked out on day 3. That made the rounds. Metal Injection and Metal Sucks, and I think Loudwire, all had articles about it. But no, there was this one guy, and he wasn't exactly wearing Nazi garb. But then my friend Frank texted me. He's like, "So what's the deal with the Nazi?" And then he saw the video saying like, "Okay." Yeah, that guy, he wasn't wearing an SS uniform or anything like that. He was wearing this, I can't remember the name of it. I'll try and find it. But it was basically a division of the Hells Angels that was specific for the Aryan Brotherhood.
Jeez.
Yeah. And he was wearing that shirt. He was like let's see. Yeah, not just a Nazi. That's a Dago Choppers. Dago Choppers shirt. And they are a Hells Angel gang from California. And if that guy's affiliated, that could cause issues next year because they always want payback. Oh. So it's like, that's great. That's really good. It's good to know.
Beware.
Yeah.
But they need to show up in a large group, like an extremely large group, because they're going to be very outnumbered.
Yeah, they'll probably have to get So who knows if that guy is affiliated? We shall see. But that's next year's problem.
Right?
And it had to happen during Joy Division, which, if you guys remember my review on Unknown Pleasures last week, they were doing like a lot of the things the punks were doing at the time, which was dressing in like the old German uniforms just to piss off their parents because they fought against the Nazis in World War II.
Right.
And shit like that. And then Joy Division itself was actually named after this, named after the Joy Division, which was dedicated, which was a segment in the concentration camps, specifically for women, all these women prisoners that the Nazis would exploit for sexual pleasures. So that was the Joy Division. So yeah, I can kind of see in a roundabout way how that would attract Nazis, but much in the same way how the song Guilty of Being White by Minor Threat attracted Nazis. It's like you don't understand the context behind it. And of course, Nazis are idiots that way.
Right.
It's stupid. So anyway, that was the first confrontation of a Nazi guy in punk rock bowling. during Joy Division. But so anyway, despite that little hang up, I mean, Joy Division, Peter Hook and the Light. I mean, Peter Hook, I mean, he founded Joy Division. Like, that was the band he started.
Right.
So he practically is Joy Division.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited that I got to hear those songs live. And I got to see New Order before that, too. You know, at Kill Me Block Party.
Right, the week before.
So, yeah, the week before, I see New Order, and then I see Joy Division.
That's
great. Pretty awesome.
It was great.
So, yeah, it was a great time. That was a great set. And, yeah, then I managed to make it back to my room, and I had such an elegant slumber.
I did, too. I skipped out on my club show because I was too tired, so I didn't go see the club show on Saturday night.
Really?
Yeah.
What was Saturday night?
Street Dogs.
Yeah.
I miss Street Dogs. Damn it.
I know. And if I'd known that you weren't going to that show, I would have been like, hey, give me your ticket. I want to see Street Dogs.
I would have offered it up. I didn't know I wasn't going until I went and talked myself out of seeing Beton Army and then talked myself out of seeing the Briefs. And I'm like, I'm going to go for Street Dogs. And then I fell asleep and woke up 10 minutes after they started, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
I was tired. Remember that part? I was tired.
Yeah, you were tired.
Yeah,
you were tired when you started, tired when it ended.
Right, it got to me. Anyway, none of that, but I did get to see the Briefs the next day, as you did too, at the pool party.
Yep, the third pool party, then the final one, and yep, it was much the same as the day prior.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of circle pits, a lot of whirlpool and shit like that, and the Briefs, God, they were on fire. They were playing such good songs. The crowd was energized. It was just a fun time. I was happy to see the Briefs. I had never seen them play Jesus before.
I saw them a few years ago, Punk Rock Bowling, but that was the only other time.
Well, there you go. Punk Rock Bowling.
You get to see a lot of great bands, Punk Rock Bowling.
Yep, makes the promises they can't refuse.
And it was hot as shit at the pool, but I went back to the room and I didn't go over to the main stage. Like this year, I definitely skipped out on a lot of the earlier bands. But not that I don't like the earlier bands. I did listen to a lot of the earlier bands ahead of time. That way, if I thought there was something I really wanted to see, I wouldn't miss out on it. And sorry, earlier bands that I didn't see, I didn't really want to see your stuff. Sorry. Anyway, I was just one guy. There's plenty of other people that were there, I'm sure. I don't even remember who I saw first that day. I don't remember who I came in to see first.
Well, let's consult the lineup.
Who did we see? Let's work our way backwards. I saw Social Distortion.
Yeah.
We got to see them. I hadn't seen them since Warped Tour in the 90s, since Eric was a baby.
Oh, yeah. The polite thing to do is not draw attention to that. Let's say there was Babe Haven, Bad Waitress, Barstool Preachers, Angel Dust, and I got there when Leftover Crack was playing.
Oh, I was there. I think I got there when they were playing. Who's after them? Because I heard them playing the end
Bridge
of the
City Sinners.
That's who, yeah. I went and saw Bridge City Sinners. That's who it was.
Yeah.
But I heard the end of Leftover Crack. They probably had like 5 songs, maybe 4 or 5 songs left by the time I got there.
Yeah, they didn't really play a long set, but yeah, they played all of Leftover Crack material. Usually they throw in a couple of Choking Victim songs in there, but they didn't this time.
Oh.
Though I was bummed because I was getting there, I was still in line, and I could hear them playing Clear Channel. I go, damn it, I wanted to hear that. Damn it. Well, well. And then they started playing Life is Pain. Yeah, Life is Pain, they always play that one. And then they got into some of their new material. They even played, oh God, what was the... Yeah, played Born to Die, played Crack City Rockers, and then they ended with One Dead Cop. Oh. I thought, oh, that's cool, because I haven't seen them play that song. I thought for sure they would be playing Gain Control.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that would have been a hell of an ender, which it could have been, but no, they didn't even play it.
Not that time.
Yeah, oh well, spilt milk. Anyway, so Leftover Crack was awesome, and then Bridge City Sinners were playing.
Yep.
And the Bridge City Sinners, I watched them from a distance because I was looking at the merch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really didn't get a lot of merch. I got a Social Distortion shirt for my roommate because it was her birthday this last weekend.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I got her one. She's like, look for a Coxbar shirt, Amiga the Devil, and Social D, if you could get me back any one of those guys, that would be awesome.
Cool.
And I wanted to get her the Coxbar shirt that had the heart on it.
That's what I got.
Yeah, because she wanted that one. But by the time I went to go buy it, they were out. Completely out. So I was like, well, damn it. I'll get you the Social shirt. The one that specifically says Punk Rock Bowling because that was their first time playing it. You know?
Chris went to go get that because he waited, and they were out of all of the sizes completely. Of that one by the time he went.
Damn. Well, sucks.
Yeah, that's what we get for waiting.
Yeah, that is what happens. But Bridge City Sinners, I mean, they sounded good.
Did you sound good?
Did you see them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw their whole set. They got there, like I said, a couple songs for Leftover Crack, then all of Bridge City Sinners. But I watched them from further away, too. I was just got there. I was getting a drink and just hanging out and, like, enjoying. They're mellow. They're a mellow band. They're a mellow folk punk band. They're not even that heavy of a folk punk band, right? So
not really.
Right. They were just cool to see. It was good to see. Who was after them?
Who was after them? Riverboat Gamblers.
Oh, yeah. Riverboat Gamblers.
Yeah, Riverboat Gamblers. I haven't seen them since Warped Tour 2010.
Oh, I saw them at Punk Rock Bowling a couple years ago on the street stage when the street stage was around the corner instead of head up.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't there for that PRB.
Right.
Oh, wait, a couple years ago? You mean last year or 2 years ago?
I think 2 years ago is where it wrapped the corner. You know where all the merch tables are by the street stage?
Okay, yeah.
Down that street is where the street stage was that year.
Huh, I must have missed that one.
And that's where I remember seeing Riverboat Gamblers. That was the other time that I'd seen Riverboat Gamblers. They were great that time, too.
Well, I'm sure they were.
Well, who was after Riverboat Gamblers then?
Well, Riverboat Gamblers was The Damned.
The Damned.
The Damned.
You know what? I liked The Damned a lot. Their energy was really mellow. I heard people heckling from the areas I was at because, like, the energy killer. Like, people were heckling because the energy level went down so much. And Bridge City Sinners were the ones that played before them on that stage. To be fair, I guess it was Riverboat Gamblers actually prior to them. But, yeah, I heard people heckling because their energy level was just real low.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed fine where I was at.
Where I was at, people were heckling a little bit. I was just enjoying hearing the tracks that I haven't heard because it's PRB, I don't know how many years ago. It was probably the last time I saw them. It's been a while.
Yeah, same, actually.
Right.
Yeah. And my girlfriend, she's seen them, that was her 17th time seeing them.
Jeez. Well,
yeah.
I like the Damned. You've seen them that many times.
Oh, she loves the Damned. I mean, she loves all that old school, like, 70s punk rock.
Right.
Like, yeah, Damned is one of her favorite bands, also along with Devo and Buzzcocks.
Cool.
So, yeah, she's way into that stuff. And of course, Coxbar.
Great bands. I enjoyed seeing the Damned. Who was after the Damned? Was that Amigo the Devil? Or is that too early in the
Pie
episode?
Tasters.
Oh, it was Pie Tasters.
Yeah.
That's right. I didn't go over for Pie Tasters. They were cool. I could see them from the screen and hear a little bit of the music.
Pie Tasters, oh boy. I heard their set from one of the Porta-Johns.
How long were you in the Porta-John?
Oh boy, it was longer than I care to admit. Must have been the cheese.
Okay.
Because it was taking a while. I'm like,
enough.
this sucks. But I got to hear their set. It sounded fun.
Yeah.
I mean, the Pie Testers, they're a good band.
Right
They're a good band. I
Who was
like
after
them.
them? I think I actually left, went to the hotel, and then came back during
Flag.
their set. Oh, no, I didn't go back because I watched all the Flag set. Never mind.
Okay.
I was probably just getting food and just not near the stage during Pie Taster's set.
Yeah.
But I was over relatively close, but in the area where it wasn't so crowded.
Yeah.
Anyway. And so, yeah, I watched all the Flag set. Never mind.
Well, I was there for all of Flag set.
Yeah.
You know, being that I missed the Pie Tasters, I'm like, okay, well, let's get our ass up to Flag. And
They were great.
Yeah, they were great. There it is. Keith, Chuck, Bill, Dez, and Stefan.
Right?
Yeah, they are basically Black Flag.
Right.
I mean, got more, not original members per se, but like some of the biggest members than Black Flag TM has.
Right. Black Flag has, like one dude at this point, and all of those guys but the drummer.
It's just Greg Ginn and company.
Right. That's a better name for it. But
yeah. Greg Ginn presents Black Flag.
Just the drummer. Everybody else was in Black Flag in those early 80s years. So they were a part, between all of those guys, they were a part of most of the early albums.
Yeah. Yeah, like in the Yeah, I mean, Bill Stevenson, he was on there for... Yeah, he was definitely on there. He was on there for Damaged and My War and Slip It In and Onward. Right. And Keith Morris, he was the original. Right. He was there for Nervous Breakdown and all of the other material. I mean, he didn't record the other EPs, but he was the original vocalist. And, of course, Des Cadena, he had his own... Because, I mean, Flag is... it's more consistent with some of its more famous musicians and members that they had in there. I mean, you have Keith Morris. He was the original vocalist.
Right.
Sang on... he was recorded and credited for the Nervous Breakdown EP and some of the others in Everything Went Black, which were eventually re-recorded for the subsequent EPs, like on the Jealous Again and Six Pack and what have you. And Des Cadena, he had his his songs that he sang, mostly from the Six Pack stuff. And then there was then Chuck Dukowski, he was the longest lasting bassist, and as was Bill Stevenson, who played on the last few albums. Well, he played from I'm pretty sure Damaged all the way to the last album, which I think was Loose Nut or anything like that. But yeah, he is not the original, but the main drummer of that band. And Stefan Egerton, not even a member of Black Flag at all. He's Descendants,
right?
One of their cohorts,
right?
So yeah, they got more Black Flag than Black Flag does. Absolutely. The only thing they don't have are the rights and the original guitarist, but nobody wants to be around him.
Well, they were great. They killed it.
They sure did. Expected. They sure did. Hearing stuff like Six Pack and My War, Nervous Breakdown, Six Pack. Did I say that already? Yeah, I did. Right. Not the other Six Pack.
You really liked it.
I did really like it. Jealous Again, Wasted. That was the one. Yeah, Wasted. And then, of course, they closed with Louie Louie. And at that point, I go, okay, I'm done. Because I am so fucking sick of Louie Louie. I hate that song. I hate that that's the one they always cover. But either way, it worked out because I'm like, okay, I'm done with Black Flag. Now I got to get over to the other stage and see Amigo the fucking Devil.
Right.
And that was Kate's first time. Kate's my girlfriend, by the way. That was her first time seeing Amigo the Devil. And she was always off-put by Amigo because he was so overhyped.
Okay.
People were always pushing it on her. But I got her introduced because I made a whole punk rock bowling playlist on the phone for us to listen to on the drive down. And that, of course, included my favorite Amigo songs. So when he came on, she was vibing with it.
Cool.
And then it took seeing him live, and it was just him, not his full band, just him. And she just fell in love with it.
Awesome.
So I told you it takes seeing him live because he sings some of these really grim songs and some of these just emotional soul-bearing songs. But he is a funny fucking guy in between all of them. He is so hilarious. And yeah, this was no exception. He was on top of his game, haggling with the crowd and just talking about how he wrote the song, I Hope Your Husband Dies, for his friend who was getting married. And some pretty dark humor on top of that, he said. And yeah, what's funny is her husband did actually die. And I do have a way of making this darker, but ding plays his banjo a little bit. Ding. I guess we know who was the better drunk driver. Yeah. Oh, snap. Oh, that sucks. But, of course, everyone's just like, it's like, yeah, tug at the collar and inhale through gritted teeth. But at the same time, yay!
Right.
It was a good set. And and yeah, I do prefer some songs with his full band, but he has such bravado and presence on stage that he makes it feel like he doesn't even need it.
Right.
And that's the sign of a good performer, a good musician in general, is just someone who can... It's like the entirety of one band rolled up into one person.
Right.
One of those one-man bands you see, they got the big bass drum on the back, they got the cymbals between their knees,
yes.
And they're playing the accordion and blowing into the harmonica right here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's, the opening scene from Mary Poppins.
Right.
Right. Like that. Anyway... where were you during all this? Were you back at your hotel yet?
No. I stayed. I just listened, though. I listened and watching the screen with Amigo the Devil, and then we had Social Distortion come on after that and wrapped up the night.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen him in a long time. Played most of... Actually, I didn't even stay, to be fair. I stayed... He took the stage I don't know how long his set was, but I think I was like 55 minutes in, and I was expecting 5 or 10 minutes left, right? You know, about an hour, because that's about what all the headliners did. And I didn't want to walk out in the crowd, which took forever, because we walked out in the crowd with Peter Hook and Cockspars the night before, and it was just super packed. Tight sardines, slowly working your way out because there's so many people leaving at the same time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that bad with Peter Hook. Like I said, a lot of people had left early. But with Social Distortion, the crowd wasn't quite as full as Cockspar, but it was pretty full. And so I left. I heard a handful of the songs that I wanted to hear, so did Chris. And so we left at like 55 minutes into his set.
There's a handful of songs that I really wanted to hear, but he didn't play.
Well, I probably would have missed out on some of the other ones I wanted to hear then.
Yeah. I mean, he played...
Played Machine Gun Blues.
Yeah, he played Machine Gun Blues.
About that one.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. But the main thing about... I mean, you thought The Damned was getting heckled. Social D was getting heckled.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mainly because Mike Ness was taking a lot of time between his songs, and he was...
At the beginning of the set, he didn't. At the beginning of the set, he played like solid, like the first 15, 20 minutes, he hardly did it all. And then from then on, it was just like break after break after break after break. It was weird.
And it was also noticeably softer.
Yeah.
You know, like the sound was not as... the sound was not as large. Though I think that's because of, it's because of the surgery that he had for his, I think it was tinnitus.
Okay.
Something like that. So he literally can't play that long or at volumes that loud. Like there's a certain decibel that he has to, that's like the cutoff point. So that was kind of a pain in the ass. But, you know, he did play some, it was nice to hear Another State of Mind.
Right.
Though I am bummed that he didn't do Mommy's Little Monster.
Right.
Yeah. And of course he did Bad Luck, he did No Way Out, and The Way Things Were, that was after some fucking fruitless diatribe on how he's talking about growing up with all of these punks and all of these guys, they're his friends and everything. It's like, yes, we know. You wandered around OC, strung out for the better part of your fucking 20s.
Right.
Could you just play the fucking songs, man?
Right.
You know, I was really bummed. He didn't play anything from my favorite album. He didn't play anything from White Light, White Heat, White Trash.
I know.
And that was where one of, like, not even, God, I was wrong. That's one of his biggest songs. He didn't even play that one. But I was really hoping he would play Don't Drag Me Down. Especially when it was talking about how I've lived through multiple fucking presidencies. And I can tell you, this is one of the... No, man, it's this is the worst fucking presidents we've had. I'm like, oh, okay, yes, but also, can you please play the song, Mike? You're really droning on, and please let this be Don't Drag Me Down. It's not. Okay, thanks for nothing.
Right?
You know, that would have been perfect because Don't Drag Me Down is about, like, the socio-political regime making life difficult for everybody. It's like, have you ever been afraid about society trying to keep you down? I begin to watch things change, see them turn around. Come on, that was right. It was right there, Mike. Oh, God. The other ones I know was kind of a long shot. I would have loved to have heard Let It Be Me or Sweet and Low Down or So Far Away, but yeah. I'm also kind of amazed that he didn't even play Ball and Chain.
Right.
That's another big hit. Yeah, but of course he did Story of My Life. That was the closer. So yeah.
That I missed.
Yeah, first time seeing Social Distortion. I expected more, but...
Fucking chair.
Fucking chair. I expected more, but, you know, from what I got, I'm glad I at least saw him at least once, but I'm not in a hurry to see them again.
Fair enough.
So, yeah. But the show that I was in a hurry to go see, the fucking secret band.
Surprise guest, surprise.
Surprise guest, yeah, we can see the wings behind the little British boy figure you have. Right. We know who the special guest is going to be. Yeah, I'm talking about the Cockspar show that was at Fremont Country Club. I was bummed about missing Mike McColgan, was bummed about missing Street Dogs, but I did was the most bummed about missing Cockspar. Yes, I saw them in the festival, saw them on the main stage, but it's a different feeling seeing them on the small stage in the club. So how did I get in? So you had your little interesting elevator stories with the Mariachi Old Bronx coming in. Well, who should enter the elevator when me and Kate were leaving the hotel but someone who works at Fremont Country Club.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, God. That would be a trip if Colin came in.
Right.
Or any of the members on there. But
and
what would they be doing?
Tickets?
Yeah. But what would they be doing at the Grand?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, they always stay at the Nugget.
Yeah. No, so this lady comes in. Her name was Danielle. She starts commenting on Kate's dress. It's this, Western style, I guess, a canvas dress.
Okay.
I don't know what the material is, but it had embroidered scorpions on it. And she was complimenting her and then started up a conversation. And she's saying, yeah, I work at the country club I'm working at the Cockspar show tonight. And she said, oh, yeah, we really wanted to go to that, but they fucking sold out. So, just making that as sort of like making it sound like a passing comment.
Right.
Making it sound that way. But then she says, well, I actually worked that show. Come by the show, come to the back of the venue, and I will get you guys in. Oh, wow. Really?
Awesome.
Really? And Kate just went like full, okay, what are your favorite chocolates? What are your favorite flowers? I will give you your flowers, I'll chocolates, I'll do your taxes, I'll do and whatever. She was just naming all these things like, if she's legit, I will do this. And yes, as we were leaving the festival, we stopped at the CVS. She bought her a Hershey's bar and a bottled water. And then we go over to the FCC. And I'm just thinking the whole time, like, okay, well, if this doesn't work, we can always look for people selling their tickets. I doubt that those will.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, the prospects of that will be fruitful, but it's worth a shot. Anyway, we go to the back, and this is where they're letting all the all-access people go into. And we're just sort of standing there, and then we see Danielle. We're like, yo, hey. And she looks at us, 1 second. And then she goes back. And then we and Kate are just there, okay, well, hopefully she comes back soon. And within the 5 or 10 minutes of her return, we actually see the Cockspar guys walk by and enter the backstage. It was like, got the pass? Ah, yep, go on. And I was just like, Kate, look at this. Grab her face. Look at that.
Right.
This is awesome. And yeah, then after about 10 minutes of waiting, she comes back. 2 black all-access wristbands, puts it on her wrist, and we're like, okay, you're good to go. Holy shit. Holy shit. Cool. Which I just learned is Colin McFowle's son's band.
Yeah, TJ. Yep.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Oh.
I didn't know that until he was commenting on it later on with not Colin, but his TJ. Yeah. And he was just going on like... yeah, it's pretty awesome to be opening up for my dad's band.
And I'm sure it's not the first time that he's opened up for him, though.
Yeah, probably not. but special all the same.
Right.
And then saying, don't let a single minute of this Cockspar set go to waste. It's like, oh, we won't. We won't. So, and yeah, as soon as Barstool Preachers were off, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get as close as I can. So me and Kate, we move as close to the front as possible. We're like 4 or 5 people back. And it's like, okay, we're good. And then we start striking up some conversations with the people surrounding us. And there's this one guy who was just looking at me like, hey, bud. Just poking at his nose. I go, no, man. And earlier this guy was, oh, God. He was saying, yeah, I'm really excited. Me First and the Gimme Gimmes are playing. What? Huh? He was convinced that Me First and the Gimme Gimmes were playing. Going, but what do you mean? Oh, it's the secret band, the surprise guest. Okay, listen, man. The surprise guests are bands that have played the festival. They are just making a club show appearance. And Me First and the Gimme Gimmes did not play the festival. This
and they
is
don't even
not-
go by that name anymore.
Yeah, they don't. They don't. They are just something else. But
Spike and the Gimme Gimmes.
yeah, Spike and the Gimme Gimmes. They were not playing the festival. And honestly, read the room. Do you think that they will be playing to a crowd like this? This crowd knows what band is coming on.
Right.
And this is the guy who's like touching his nose, obviously asking for cocaine. And we're thinking, I think this guy's a narc.
Right.
He's totally misinformed.
Yeah.
That or he's just really oblivious. But no, I think it was a narc. I think it was looking to pinch somebody. But I said, nah, I don't have any on me. Even if you're offering, no, I don't do cocaine. I have heart problems. No, I don't have heart problems. I have high blood pressure, but cocaine certainly doesn't help. And also, Jesus Christ, I'm not going to run the risk of that.
Right.
No, fuck that. And when Coxswarer was on, he was nowhere to be seen. He was gone. Vanished. Poof. Okay, but yeah, then Coxswarer comes on, and I just remember the curtains open, and then Colin comes up, and he's like undoing his shirt in a sort of striptease fashion. I'm like, I am laughing my ass off. And then, once again, start off the set with Riot Squad, and they go down the line of like some of the best hits on Shock Troops and the songs from Forever, the songs from their last album. What was the name of that album?
Hand on My Heart.
Hand on My Heart, yeah. Hand on My Heart. And yeah, it wasn't much of a variation from when they played at the festival. The only thing was like they played I Got Your Number.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a good one. And they also played their first single that they ever released. It was
I played this song.
Running
a lot of years
something.
ago.
It was
Running Riot? No, that came out.
Running Wild?
There's a song they did, Running Riot, but I thought that was on their that might have been their first single, actually.
It might have been. Let me check the set lists here.
I'm jealous that you got to see that, though. I knew it was going to happen, but Mondays, I've had Monday tickets before, and I've just given them up. I'm too tired.
Yeah.
I'm too tired.
It was Running Riot.
There you go.
They also did Suicide Girls and Argy Bargy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Here We Stand. That was a good one to hear live. I love that one. And yeah, they once again closed with We're Coming Back. And Colin says, yes, we're not coming back. Not back to Vegas, but, we're not opposed to coming back to the US. We may be back here for other shows. We just won't be back for punk rock bowling. So it's like, yeah, well, we're sad about that, but God damn it, don't dampen the mood. Don't dampen the mood, Colin. We're enjoying ourselves now.
Right.
And enjoy we did. I still am just like so... I'm like, Katie, I am in debt to you. I am in debt to you. Had we not left the hotel when we did, got in the elevator when we did, if you hadn't been wearing that dress, started that conversation with the person who happened to be working the show that night, I'm just happy that it happened the way it did.
It's amazing.
She even
Good way
came
to wrap
down
up the weekend.
She even came down to punk rock bowling on a whim. She just sort of said, yeah, I just sort of said, well, it looks like I'll be going down alone, like driving down alone, but I'll be meeting some friends down there when I see them. And then she said, you know what? I'm just going to go. I'm just going to go. I want to see all these bands on here. Why shouldn't I just treat myself?
There you go.
So she managed to make that happen. So it was just a series of events that basically culminated to us seeing Coxswarer not once, but twice. She had never seen them before. I can now count 3 times that I've seen Coxswarer.
Right.
And it's awesome. And it's awesome. I just love that it happened the way it did. That is the way to end the festival. That was the way to end PRB for me. Seeing Cock rock bowling.
Cock
Cock rock sparring. Yeah, seeing them playing a club show, just because it means one thing to see them on the main stage, but to be up close and personal with them.
Yep.
I think the only way that could have been better is if I saw them in England.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Maybe one day.
Maybe
they're still alive. They still look like they're in pretty good health.
Oh yeah. And one thing I noted, I told Katie, watching them, I said, yeah, these guys, you can just look at them and they are unmistakably British.
Yeah.
They just look British. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. They just look like they're from Britain before they even open their mouths. And of course, I love Colin McFowle's jowls. Rival that of a bulldog's. I remember one time there was the stage light was shining on his face at a certain angle where it looked like he just had a really puffy Fu Manchu. Nice. That's how his jowls are shaped. It's so funny. So anyway, that was
Punk Rock Bowling 2025.
2025, the 25th anniversary of Punk Rock Bowling.
Right.
Punk Rock Bowling. Yeah. God, this was the funnest one I've been to in a long time. Long time, at least for me. I'm speaking for myself. First time I went down with a girlfriend.
Right, that's cool. That adds to the experience.
Oh yeah, sure is. I've been dating a few weeks, and all of a sudden we have our first vacation together.
Right.
And what a vacation it was! God, it was such a fun time. It's just nice to go down with someone who is like on your level of like wanting to experience shit.
Right. Which is great. And then that wraps the weekend.
Yeah, that wraps the weekend.
Rushed home.
And we caught Bouncing Souls.
Right.
Bouncing Souls, if you don't know, are on tour with H2O, the Adolescents, and the Jackknives.
Right.
And I was high fucking tailing it all through Utah just to get my fucking ass to the depot. I didn't even stop at home. I was like, no, we need to get to the show. I'll change in the parking lot. Because I'm wearing my gym shorts and my fucking flip flops, my chanclas.
Did you see the whole show?
Most of the whole show.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, as soon as I got my jeans and my shoes on, we're like, okay, into the venue. And we got there right as Jackknives was finishing up. I saw the last 3 songs of the Jackknives set.
Okay.
And yeah, then we stuck around for Adolescence, and wouldn't you know it, he wasn't wearing a mask this time.
He was not. And speaking of elevator rides, when we left the show after, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but after Bouncing Souls, a buddy of mine I went with, he had a boot and a scooter, so we got to sit in the handicap section because he's temporarily handicapped. And we rode the elevator down at the depot, and guess who was in the elevator? The Adolescents.
Really?
Yeah. They were going down to level 0. We were going down to level 1. So we only rode it down 1 floor, but we talked to them, shook their hands, and told them they did a great show. So, funny enough, elevator rides this past week.
If Steve Soto was still alive, he'd probably be taking up most of the elevator. It's like, yeah, we ran into the Adolescent. You mean the Adolescents? No, just Steve Soto. He's the only one who could get in the elevator. R.I.P., man. R.I.P. Fantastic bassist. You are missed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are missed. But yeah, Adolescents put on a rad set.
They were great. I only saw the last 5, maybe 6, but because my buddy got off work, and then by the time we got to my house, and then we got there, and I had to park kind of far away. I dropped him off. So that took longer than expected, and so I missed most of the Adolescent set. But I did catch about 5 songs, so it was cool. They were awesome.
Well, I mean, you got the last one, Kids of the Black Hole.
Yep.
Yeah. Got Kids of the Black Hole and Amoeba, and I'm just bummed they didn't play I Hate Children.
Huh. Yeah.
I love I Hate Children. Yeah, but whatever. Oh, Word Attack. They did do Word Attack. Yep. That's a fucking spastic one.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, Adolescents, that was my second time seeing them. First time I saw them was Warped Tour 2017.
Oh, wow.
And they only played for 10 minutes because the power went out on the stage.
Oh, jeez.
So they played one song, then the short-circuited. So it took the stagehands 10 minutes to get everything up and running again. And then they came back, they're like, okay, we're just going to play straight through what songs we can. And then they did so. So that was pretty awesome. So at least this time I got an actual full Adolescence set.
Right? And then you got to see H2O.
H2O Go. Oh my
so good.
God, that was a great set. All bangers on there. I remember I was in the back with Kate, and then Toby and company, they all come out on stage, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4 count, and then my friends look out for me like family. I'm like, okay, I'm going up, swing to the people. And yeah, just so many good songs on there. And I guess Toby's son, Max, is now their full-time drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is cool. I remember the days when he would, when they would play Nothing to Prove and they invite him out onto the stage to do the drum parts. But now that I guess he's of age, he's like, yeah, just come on and do the drums.
Right.
Some nepotism goes a long way.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's good.
He's good.
He is a great drummer. And yeah, just the way he was just like blazing through all of those songs.
Yeah, he's very good.
And like I said, they were all bangers. There was doing Spirit of '84, doing what's the straight edge song? Still Here.
Yeah.
Nothing to Prove. 1995. Faster Than the World, Thicker Than Water, Ever Ready. Yeah, there was there was so many good songs. And then they didn't close with What Happened. They always close with that one. But then they were sticking around on stage, and I'm going, oh, there's something more. And then they point out the guitarist. I can't remember his name, but he was the guitarist of Madball. And that's when they do Guilty by Association.
Yeah.
Judged by Who I Know. Oh yeah, that's how they end the set. I go, I'm for it. Just as long as they played it, I'm for it. That's one of my favorite H2O songs. Such a badass one. Such a badass song. So, badass set. And then I remember there was the time when Toby was pointing at all the little kids in the front of the crowd. He's like, hey, bring the kids up on stage. We can't have them getting crushed down there. So then there was like this little group of maybe 7 or 8 kids up there. And then he was going around like, what's your name? How old are you? It's like, I'm so-and-so, and I'm 8 years old. Or I'm 10 years old. I'm 11 years old. I'm going, this is adorable.
Yeah.
I even made a post on, like, I do Instagram stories on my page. And I remember on that specific portion, I was recording that. And I said, the kids are all right.
The kids are all right, indeed.
The kids are all right. But H2O was such a fun band to see live. Yeah, I got no bad things to say about that set.
They were fantastic. I loved it. I'm glad I got to see H2O because I missed them at their club show. Missed Adolescence at their club show. Wish I would have got to see more of their set. But we both saw Bouncing Souls at the main venue, and we got to see them here headlining.
Oh, yeah. And it was mainly it was essentially the same set that they played with some variations. Because they did do, there was the time when everyone walked off the stage except for Greg.
Right.
And Greg stayed behind, did an acoustic rendition of Ghost on the Boardwalk, which is awesome. Love that song. And then there was, I don't think at the club show, I don't think they played United, their new song.
They did, it was at the end.
They did?
Yes.
Okay, because I know that they played it at the Fest, but I don't remember if they played it at the Salt Lake show.
Yeah, they did at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't the last one because, as you pointed out, True Believers and Gone, I think, were the last ones here too. But right before that, they played United. They played it at both.
Okay.
I think it was that window of Ghosts on the
Boardwalk.
Boardwalk, and then the couple songs after that, I think, were probably the ones that were different.
Yeah. Let me bring up the cheat sheet here.
Yeah.
Yep. Zetlist.fm
Didn't they bring out Max, Toby's son, to drum on one of the songs, Bouncing Souls?
No, I don't
Isn't that who
they
did. At the show, at the depot? They pulled somebody. We were on the side, and the drum kit was hard to see. But they pulled somebody. The drummer hopped off, and somebody came on and drummed for him during one of the songs. I assumed it was Max. I don't know who else, unless they know somebody there. But somebody swapped drummer for one of the tracks.
I didn't notice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I must have been walking my way out, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, there was one thing. They were doing like the fan request. They had
BMX song.
Yeah, the BMX song. And
they did fan request at Punk Rock Bowling, but I don't know what song they played. I was far enough away I couldn't hear what they were saying, and I don't even remember the song, to be honest with you. So.
Well, let's see here.
But they did do, BMX song was awesome. Toilet song would have been good, though.
Oh, yeah. And I was also yelling, play Blind Date! Play Bully on the Jukebox!
Right.
Play Fight to Live! You're so rad! All the songs I wanted to hear. Yeah, but really any song that Bouncing Souls plays, I will be satisfied. I mean, like I said, they did a lot of the same songs.
Right.
You know, On top of that, because this is the East Coast Fuck You tour. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
So, of course, East Coast, fuck you! East Coast, fuck you! And they also did the Gold song. They did, 10 Stories High.
Yeah.
Yeah, from their last album. That's a good song.
It is.
Oh, and Lean on Sheena, their
Of
Avoid
course.
One Thing cover, Kids and Heroes, and yeah, you were right. They did do United, and then they did True Believers, and then they did Gone. So they swapped those two closers.
Right.
So it was like, whoop. And yeah, I love Gone. I was so happy that they closed with that one, because that's the one that made me well up a little bit. I remember as I was like yelling the last passage, God! Like it just, my voice just cracked. I'm like, there it is, son of a bitch. Oh God, I love that song to no end. And I love how Pete was doing those closing chords, but he was just like letting it ride. He's like, no, we're going to keep doing this. Right. And then out comes Greg and the other two, and they're just like, okay, let's just fucking do the chorus again. And then God, I go, yes, more please.
Right, that was awesome.
I was like, that was the Bouncing Souls song, the Bouncing Souls set I needed to hear. So this is my 9th time seeing Bouncing Souls.
That's awesome.
9th time, and 2nd time seeing them within back to back, pretty much.
Right.
They're getting close. They're getting close to being the band I've seen live the most. So, touring band. I don't count the local bands because that's just I see them every week. You know?
Right.
But no, Bad Religion and Flogging Molly. I've seen both of those bands each 12 times. Now Bouncing Souls, I've seen 9.
Okay.
So they're moving up.
Catching up.
And Bouncing Souls, I saw them
Could be
the
a
first time I saw
Flogging
Bad
Molly.
Religion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, those were the first 2 punk bands that I saw live, and now they're the ones I've seen the most.
Awesome.
Yeah. And yeah, hopefully Flogging Molly gets back on track again. Hopefully
Right.
Dave recovers pretty quickly.
Right.
But let's not worry about that. So anyway, Jesus, that was Tales from the Pit.
That's going to wrap up Tales from the Pit.
That's going to wrap up Tales from the Pit.
Longest episode we've done.
Yeah, but it was a festival. What do you expect from us?
Right.
Yeah. And I'm currently missing out on Napalm Death because I'm doing this episode.
Well, Eric's about to wrap up the episode. I'm going to get out of here for a moment while Eric gets to telling you all the stuff coming up on his list. So
yeah, because wouldn't you know,
I'll be after Eric.
There is more stuff coming up. So let's get into the shows that are happening right now. Well, actually, no. The shows that are happening right now, I'm obviously not at.
No.
But it's okay. I've seen Napalm Death 2 or 3 times. I've seen the Melvins twice. And the Melvins aren't that cool to see live. They're not. They're just,
I feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah. They're cool. They're cool musicians, cool music. I really love the songs, but they really don't have much stage presence. King Buzzo doesn't really say much. Napalm Death, however, yeah, there is a lot of movement, a lot of back and forth with basically Barney and the crowd. So yeah, I am kind of bummed I won't be seeing Napalm Death, but again, I've seen him 3 times. I'm okay missing him.
All right, well, I'm going to jump out. Eric's going to resume. Enjoy.
So yeah, on the 30th, we have Filth Lords, Tact, Hangxiety, and Mola Ram. They will be playing at Ace's High Saloon, and that's going to be starting at 8 p.m. and will be $15. That's going to be a fun one for sure. Then on the 31st, Bleeding Through is making their return to Salt Lake. I don't even know how long it's been since Bleeding Through have come here, especially as a headliner. And even longer since they played like an underground show, because this will be at Church and State. And Crow Killer, Pushing Up Daisies, and Forever War are going to be opening up for him. That's going to be a hell of a show. $25 if you buy in advance, $35 if you pay at the door, starting at 7 p.m. Elsewhere on the 31st, there is Bitch Fest 3, which will take place at Ace's High Saloon. It'll include Angel Fury, Concilium, Molotovin, Shere Khan, and Manleash. That's $25 if you buy in advance, $30 day of, and it's a pretty long show. It'll be starting at 6 p.m. Then moving into June, we have on the 2nd, Volcano Birth, Miesmore, Glassing, and Dralth. Okay. It's not actually Volcano Birth. That is their Instagram handle. Their actual name is Dragged into Sunlight. dragged into sunlight. But yeah, if you try and find them on Instagram, it will pull up volcano births, so it doesn't really matter at that point. But what does matter is that they'll be playing with Meesmore, Glassing, and Drouth at Ace's High Saloon. It's $25, starts at 7 p.m. And also, could you really blame me? Can you really read that logo at first glance? It totally looks like it says lobster, not lobster, it totally looks like it says volcano birth. Yeah, I can see it, can you? But anyway, speaking of lobster, on June 3rd, Lobster Fight is playing with Molotov Dress, Tampa Chess Club, and Kevin McCoon and the Twine. And that'll be up at Black Lung Society. It's $12 and starts at 7 p.m. And then on the 5th, my friends in Slingshot are coming to Salt Lake, finally. And I promised that I would book them, and I did. I booked him a show with the Never Don'ts, Exponential Rat, and Solitude at Oliver Rock. That is a $10 show, or pay what you can. Just as long as you come, it'll be awesome. Starting at 6 p.m. And then on the 7th, there is Punk Rock Pride. That will include the performances from She-Cock and the Rock Princess, or She-Cock with a Vengeance. They've changed their name a few times over the years. I think right now it's She-Cock with a Vengeance. But anyway, just as it says on the flyer, She-Cock. Also with them, Molotovin, False Dichotomy, Frick, Masculine Artifice, and Dreckies. That's going to be at Ace's High. It's $20, and that'll be starting early at 4 p.m. Almost a matinee show. And then on the 10th, Tact, Hospital Property, and SLC Demons are going to be playing at the Beehive. That is going to be $10 and will start at 7 p.m. Then on the 12th, there is a Punks and Punchline show at the Metro. Comedy and music and drag. I don't know what drag queens will be performing. I don't even know what bands will be performing, but it's going to be a fun time, trust me. That's going to be starting at 7 p.m. and it's $10 to enter. Then on the 14th, we have Rock Against Fascism with Filth Lords, Clem, and Fight the Future. That's going to be at Ace's High Saloon. I don't think that there is a price on this one, but we'll start at 7 p.m. there. And then also on the 14th, there is the Decades Fest, which is a multitude of bands doing cover sets. We have Lapdog doing Talking Heads, Del Perro doing Gorillaz, No Such Animal doing Green Day, Love Audrey doing Jack Johnson, The Narcs playing the Red Hot Chili Peppers, P.S. Destroy This doing Bikini Kill, Venus Death Trap playing My Chemical Romance, The Lip playing Sublime, and Anais Chantel doing Nirvana. That's going to be at Urban Lounge and is going to be starting at 5 p.m. A pretty loaded show right there. But, it'll be fun. I'm sure it'll be fun. And if they're playing songs that you hate, well, just step out of the fucking venue. Have a drink out on the patio. No one's going to kill you. So anyway, that's all the shows that I got for the stuff happening in and around Salt Lake. However, there's a couple more that I got to that I got to plug for my friends whose bands are out on tour. There is a show tonight in Portland. Well, a couple of shows really, but first of all, we're going to talk about the Idiots. They are on tour currently. Tonight they will be playing in Portland with Wasted Strike, Backslash, Social Ills, and Final, I don't know what the fuck that thing says. It looks like it says Trust or Trash or something. I don't know. You guys, your guess is as good as mine. All you people up in Portland, tell me what the fuck is that band? Anyway, all these guys will be playing at Shit World. It's going to be $7 starting at 7 p.m. Then on the 31st, they will be in Olympia, playing with Decrepit, Pegsipo, Inferior Disposition, and Cruster High. That'll be at Le Voyer. It's $15 and will start at 7 p.m. And then on the 1st of June, they'll be in Seattle with Undisassembled, Gov, and Caps Lock. They will be playing at Lucky Liquor. That's $15. They'll start at 7 p.m. So that's the Idiots out on tour. Meanwhile, Death Blow is still on tour with Stress Test. And tonight they will be And tonight they will be playing Boise with Bussy Riot and Grimmage. That is $15. We'll be starting at 7 p.m. Then on the 31st, they will be back home at SLC, playing with Endless Struggle, Ribbons, and Fleeing the Scene. And that'll be at Oliver Rock, and is $10, and it starts at 6 p.m. Also, Deathblow is on tour with Stress Test. I forgot to mention that. Stress Test. Deathblow and Stress Test. It's a co-headlining tour, and this is where they will be playing. Then on the 6th, they will be in Eugene, playing with Ablation Cascade and Flossless at John Henry's. That is $12, starts at 8 p.m. Then on the 7th, they will be up in Seattle, playing with Voldery and Smearing at the Belltown Yacht Club. That's $12 if you pay in advance, $15 of the day of, starting at 8 p.m. And then finally, they will be ending it in Portland on June 8th, playing with Atomic Terror at the High Water Mark, and that'll be starting at 8 p.m. and is $10. And Portal to the Goddamn Blood Dimension are wrapping up their tour. They only have 3 days left. Tonight, on the 30th, they will be playing in Rockland, California with Sex Ed, and I guess they got a band by now. They certainly should have. I don't know who else they're playing, but they'll be playing at Audio Nerd, and that is $10. Be starting at 6 p.m. Then on the 31st, they will be in Berkeley, playing with Name, Delve, Lower Companion at the mighty, iconic 924 Gilman Street. Still so stoked for them to be playing there. I mean, it's an iconic venue, so yeah, good on you. Good on you. Fucking jealous. Anyway, that's $10, and it'll be starting at 6 p.m. And finally, on June 1st, they will be ending their tour in Reno, Nevada at the Great Noise Conference. They will be playing with Elephant Rifle, Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends, Beachmaster, Manchild, and the Sorcerer's Sword. That'll be at Corrigan's Lost Highway. It's $20 to get in. The whole fest starts at 2 p.m. And yeah, you just kind of have to figure out when these guys will be playing. So check it out. Check out the whole tour if you want. Check out the whole tour. Check out the whole fest. I mean, it's kind of preferable if you do that. So those are all the shows that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. And if you heard any that you like, then go and fucking check it out. Go and check it out. So thank you for being with us on this rather loaded episode of Live and Wired. So I hope we were able to entertain you by regaling you with our tales from the pit, from punk rock bowling pits, that is. Multiple pits there were. Oh, God. And yeah, whatever shows you guys attend in the next couple of weeks, I hope you have a good time. I hope you stay safe. I hope that you are not a Nazi that got kicked out of the show. Because, yeah, if you've been paying attention to the underground news, you saw that happened. Pretty funny. Pretty funny when they get their asses handed to them. Anyway, that was, Anyway, that's another episode of Live and Wired in the books. Thank you guys for joining me, Eric, and I'll turn it over to Dustin. He will tell you what else is going on elsewhere in the country. So, yeah, until next week, have a good time.
Thank you, Eric. And I'm back for going around the world. We're going to just mention a few, as this was an extra specially long day episode this time for Live and Wired. Tales from the Pit. We're going to jump into that Haywire tour and let you know where they will be, where they are, and all of those things. Bottom of the left column there, Pompano Beach, Florida today. Tomorrow they're in Tampa. They'll be in Gainesville on the 1st. We're in the middle column now. Tallahassee on the 3rd. Pensacola on the 4th. Jackson, Mississippi on the 5th. Baton Rouge, Louisiana on the 6th. Houston on the 7th. Where else they got? Corpus Christi on the 8th. McAllen on the 9th. San Antonio on the 10th. El Paso on the 11th. That wraps up Texas. We'll wrap up there. You can see the rest of the flyer. And again, it's Haywire 617 over on Instagram if you want to get a closer look at that flyer as they work their way west. Looking forward to when they make it to Salt Lake. Next, Prague Sharp Fest. This is June 6th and 7th. On Friday the 6th, you can go see Lazy Class, Cross Check, 29 August. This is at Club Strahov. And then on Saturday, longer day there, Diario de Bordeaux, Stumbling Boys, Violent Times, The Hostile Ones, and Rosruck. So pretty great fest there, brought to us by Knockout Booking, and you can go to Knockout Booking over on Instagram if you want to check out more there. In Los Angeles, in a backyard, Blue Spade 75 Studios is actually the venue. It's in East Los Angeles. You can see the address down there at the bottom. It's an all-ages show. Doors are at 7. Lots of bands going to be there. This is Saturday, June 7th. Pre-sales 10. It's 15 day of, and you can go to Eventbrite. But Naked Aggression, The Voids, Knuckleheads, SCRS, All Out Attack, and Later Days. This part of the flyer here, there's 2 parts to it. This actually shows the lineup. So bands start at 7:40, and 11:05 is when Naked Aggression takes the stage. So I'm sure they'll be playing till at or after midnight that day. Go check out all the bands, but if there's only a couple that you have time for, you can see if you can make those particular bands. Next, The Oppressed. On Saturday, May 31st, that is tomorrow. Doors are at 7. It starts at 8. It's $40. This is at Spirit Hall in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Oppressed are playing with No Time, Nabat, Fuerza Bruta, Last Protocol, Vaccine. So you definitely want to go check them out. There are a lot of really great bands there that'll be in Pittsburgh. Next Saturday, June 14th, RF7 with Noise Agents, who are doing the record release show. Splinter, Toledo Panic, and Hunky Dory. It's a Father's Day weekend show that starts at 1. It's a matinee. Bring your wife and kids, but leave the kids, as it says. That's pretty awesome. This should be like a Southern California area. I don't see the spots. Poncho DSR, and I'm not seeing it on the flyer anywhere, but Poncho DSR on Instagram if you want to get more details on that one. Then our pals in Big Attitude are doing the I Want to Destroy tour. It starts on June 11th in Fresno, works its way through June 21st into San Diego. They'll be in Sacramento, Reno, Salt Lake City at Slop Fest on June 14th. Pueblo, Colorado, Colorado Springs, Albuquerque, New Mexico, El Paso, Texas, Phoenix, Las Vegas, and finally San Diego. You can go over to bigattitude.ca over on Instagram and get more details. Killer flyer there. We'll be talking about it again, but go check out our pals in Big Attitude. The Chisel have some upcoming shows, only a couple that are really upcoming here. June 6th, the Kilby Club Festival in Dundingen. They'll be in Paris on June 20th, and Hellfest in Clisson on June 21st. They've got July shows. They've got some August shows, one of which is Rebellion Festival, and even into Glasgow on September 13th. You can go to thechiseluk.com or thechiseluk on Instagram and get some more details on The Chisel. And we're going to wrap this up with Hub City Stompers and the Bad Ups doing a Jumpstart Summer Weekender. June 13th in Washington, D.C. at Pie Shop. June 14th at Chapel Hill, North Carolina at Local 506. And finally, Richmond, Virginia at Banditos. So go check out 2 killer bands. Hope to see Bad Ups at some point. I've seen Hub City Stompers several times, and I would continue because they always put on a marvelous show. That's going to wrap up this extra long episode for us of Live and Wired. Catch us on the next time. Check out the podcast, all the things. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully get out and see some shows. If there's any shows you want us to cover, just send over the flyers to us. We'll include them here. Until the next time.